spend $1,000 to get your brake calipers professionally painted, or spend 70 bucks on Amazon and do it yourself? Well, let's see how that goes. Come on in and let's have some fun. Well, thanks for joining me today in the garage for a little bit different video than my typical auto detailing videos, but I hope you'll find this interesting. So I decided I want my calipers that are pretty much still brand new in silver to be a different color, just to add a little bit of accent. All about cosmetics, that's it. This is my 2025 GX550 Overtrail Plus. I'm tackling kind of a big project for me anyway. I'm not much of a gearhead, but pulling my wheels off and painting the calipers is something that I'm a little tentative about. I did look into having it professionally done. There's a local place, $1,000. Not the end of the world, but you know, also would deprive me of the fun of using this brake caliper paint system. So we're going to walk through, this comes, you know, you can do this, you can paint calipers in a number of different ways, but I chose this whole system because everything is in one box. It's an epoxy-based paint system. You don't have to remove the calipers. It's brush on. And so let's see what's in this box. So for 70 bucks, and I chose red, by the way. I know that surprises everybody that knows me. So you get some brake cleaner that you can use to clean the calipers. Again, these have got about 1,100 miles on them. They're still almost brand new. I am still obviously going to clean them, but they're not too dirty, fortunately. So that's a good thing. You also get a pair of gloves. You get the 4 ounces of the paint. And then you get instructions, and you get 3 brushes, a stirring stick, and the reactor, which you have to mix in with the paint in order to activate it. Now, one of the things that I am going to do is that because I only have 2 jack stands, I've jacked up the front end. I do have both wheels off, that I'm only doing 2 at a time, and you have a limited amount of time when you react this paint. But what I'm going to do is, since I know how much is in this bottle of reactor, there's ½ an ounce, and there's 4 ounces of the paint, I'm going to split them in half and mix it separately so that I've got enough for the front and enough for the back, but I don't react the back until I'm ready to do that, because painting these is going to be a multi-step process in terms of, yes, I have to clean them, but even after I clean them, it's going to be a couple layers of paint, and you have to allow those to dry, and then at least probably an hour or 2 before you even put the wheel back on. And so you're starting to get potentially in the outer limit of when that paint could start to harden. And so I can't do all 4 wheels at one time, so that's why I'm going to split the paint. We'll see how well that goes. I may still be getting professionally done. Who knows? So anyway, let's just get started, and we're going to start first with cleaning the caliper. All right, so the first step we're going to do is, again, clean with using the brake cleaner. Basically, you just spray this all over the area that you're going to paint. Allow it to drip, allow it to dwell. It can air dry, or you can wipe it clean. That's really all we have to do in terms of prep. Now, we want to make sure that we don't spray this on any plastic surfaces. Not worried about that. I did put a little plastic drop cloth down just to be safe. So it's dripping down. It is, there's some black, probably brake dust and some grease that's coming off. That's fine. That's what should happen. We're going to just let this dwell for a bit. Then I've got some of my just disposable rip-and rags, and I will go over the surface and just make sure everything looks nice and clean. Now, I'm fortunate in that these calipers have 1,000 miles on them. They're not very dirty. If they were really dirty, then you're going to have to spend more time cleaning. You may have to scrub, you may have to use a wire brush, whatever you have to do to get things cleaned up so that the paint will adhere. After this, then what I'm going to do is just tape off a few parts, and I'll walk you through that. And then we're going to start painting. I'm going to go to the other side and also do the exact same process. Now that the calipers are all clean, what I'm going to do is just tape off some of the areas that I want to make sure I do not paint. And again, you're doing this by hand, so it's, you know, less likely that you're going to paint some of these other surfaces, but I just want to make sure. So I'm taping around the rotor itself where the caliper is very close to the rotor. Just want to make sure I don't get any paint there. You also have a bleeder valve up here on top that I'm going to make sure that is protected. We don't want to get paint on that. And I've got a whole surface here of part of the rotor that I'm going to just cover, so again, I don't get paint on that. All right, I think I've got that pretty well covered. I'm going to just double check this, then I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll start painting. I am going to just stir this up one last time, and then finally we'll start painting. See how this works. This is basically put your first coat on. It's going to be a light coat. It may, may have some bubbles. It's okay, those will work themselves out. You know, the only part of this that I would say that I've done that's a little bit unorthodox is splitting this paint. Hopefully it all works okay. This is high temperature caliper paint, so it's designed to withstand, I think, 900 degrees. There are spray paints, again, that you can get as well. That's another way to do this. I can't really compare those since I have not done this before. I think the only thing when you do the spraying is just to make sure you really mask off well. I have completed one coat on both sides, so now I'm going to come back and do my second coat of paint. Really wasn't bad at all. All right, so I've completed the painting. The wheels are back on in the front. They look great. I'm now in the back. A little bit different looking caliper, obviously. I've already sprayed these down with the brake cleaner, and so they're just about ready. And then I'm gonna put I'll start masking a little bit here, and then I'm gonna put the first coat of paint on. And we'll get this thing done and wrapped up so you can see what it all looks like in the end. I think it's gonna look really, really good because I love the front. Well, what do you think? I really, really like the way these calipers look. The pop of red is just what I was looking for. And honestly, it wasn't too difficult. Yes, it is a little bit of work, taking your wheels off, cleaning your calipers. That wasn't much work for me because, again, these were pretty new. So certainly if your calipers are older, your vehicle's older, you are going to have to spend some time cleaning more than I did. But other than that, really it all went smooth. I did split the paint up, as I mentioned, so that I could do the front and back wheels at separate times of the day, just because I could only lift half the vehicle at a time, the front or the rear. But that seemed to work okay. Again, I was pretty careful about measuring both the paint as well as the resin, the reactor that activates that epoxy paint. I'd appreciate your thoughts. And what do you think about painting your own calipers? And is that something you would do? Again, I would call it a success. I think the product did an excellent job. I love how that came with everything. The brushes are not my favorite part of it in terms of they were, at times I found little bristles. So maybe you get some different brushes if you're going to do this yourself. If you want to be extra picky about it, it's not absolutely necessary at all. But that's my biggest advice for you. And then mask off again what you don't want to paint and look at it from all different angles, low, high, front, back, because I found many times there were little spots that I missed. And then when I took off the tape, I also found some spots I needed to go back and touch up, which I did, and it was not a big deal. So I encourage you, if you're interested in painting your calipers, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you found this to be helpful. And of course, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the garage. I do appreciate you coming by today and watching the video. And again, just go in your garage and have fun detailing or painting your calipers. Have a great day.